rather than wasting more time. So yesterday we're talking about guidelines, right? We've seen different guidelines based on conditions rather than just review rating. So we've seen job level plus review rating as a condition for defining guidelines. So yesterday we also discussed about budgets. So we've seen how to define one common budget for all the components within the salary sheet. Similarly, we also know how to define individual budgets, right? So a budget can be defined based on certain characteristics which we have seen, and we also saw rules that defines whether you can exceed or we cannot exceed a budget, right? So that's something that we have defined yesterday. We'll again quickly look at creating a budget for bonus because it's a bit different than what we have. So we'll look at creating that, and then we'll continue with the next topic after that. Right, so we have seen creating budget for creating budget for salary sheet yesterday. So today we'll see how we can define budget based on budget for bonus. So we'll create a budget calculation. So here, if I use for bonus, the components will change. Obviously, it's only bonus. Only bonus will be eligible for budget definition. So here, remember, usually within SuccessFactors, you can define bonus as a percentage of salary or something. But for your for your bonus target, there is some value called bonus target for each employee, and certain amount which is considered as this bonus amount that we call it as bonus target. So usually, most of the cases, we take it as percentage of bonus target. Oh, అందరికి same link है కదా? Oh, huh? Remember? Huh? So 794383397. Sorry guys. So there is this bonus target which is a bit different than regular salary and all. So each employee has a bonus target where we define how much percentage of bonus target would be made as a budget for this particular planner. So if you give 100%, so ideal planning is you define 100% bonus target for all the employees. So it's like sum of all the bonus targets and you define that value as a budget. That means you cannot exceed the planned bonus target. Sometimes some employees might get more than their bonus target, but certain employees will get down below that. So again, you follow the curve, okay? Someone might be above, someone might be below, but at the end of the day, you don't want to exceed what is planned as a bonus for your employees. So you take the bonus target value. So doing it is really simple. As I said, SuccessFactors is more about, compensation is more about understanding the concept rather than not doing it, because doing it is pretty simple. You just go, choose some screens, modify it, and then it's over. But actually, when you go to the customer, it's not this simple. I can tell you that much. For compensation, this is not so easy. So it's very important that you guys understand it, okay? So we'll take it again for the template. You can choose the default language. So this is bonus budget. Right, so we have this bonus budget which is based on the bonus target if you look at it. So we go to bonus target, we go to creating So we launch the sheet. Let's see. I guess we'll launch with the same name. Version 18 is already available. Or did it delete something? Alright. Let's see. So this was yesterday's form, not today's form. So I guess it's, so we use the same name, so that's why the form will not get changed. So. I don't know what's wrong with this one. Yes. I don't know. It's let me go back. It's not loading. It's any which ways we have to delete it. The current form is not generated. So. It's not generating it. I don't know. The form is not generated, so we need to wait. So can't help it. So we'll do something else meanwhile. Okay, so we designed worksheets, we gave budgets, we talked about eligibility rules, we talked about guidelines. So within SuccessFactors compensation, So if you look at this particular sheet here, there is something called as defined planners and executive permissions. So more or less planners, once we define it, so the standard hierarchy with managers will become more planners. Those who have a direct reports will become planners as well. But there is one more thing called executive permission. So here this is different. You need to provide employees with executive review permission so that they can export the data in an Excel format and import the data again after modifying it in Excel rather than doing it in the system. Okay, so there are people obviously who don't have time to log into your SuccessFactors and do everything. So instead they want everything in an Excel, just send it to them, they will see what it is, change something and then send it back to you. So for executive review permissions, you can actually define permissions to individual users here. So you can say which person will have executive review permissions. Let's say for example, I go to Marla Gibbs. So here you have got executive review, read permission as well as edit permission. So I'll give read permission first. On the top I selected it. And then you also give edit permission. So you just have to give grant permission. So this will give them the executive review permissions. So what is executive review permission? Where is it used? So when I go to, let's say, Alan Thompson, when I go to Alan Thompson, and when we go to compensation, I know there is nothing that you see here. So you have something called as executive review on the top. You can select the form for which you would like to do an executive review. So then what happens is this particular form, we deleted all of them, so sorry. Let's take this form for me. Something is available. Yeah, you see it's available here. So what I can do as an executive review is I can actually export it in an Excel sheet. So I'd like to export it. So this is what executive review permission is. So it gives us an option to kind of export the data in an Excel sheet. So here you see all the people, so you don't change these ones which are in normal color. The ones that are in yellow are the ones that you can simply change. You can put whatever value that you wish and you simply change. So all the ones that are in yellow are the ones that you can change. Okay, so you simply change whatever you want to in yellow. Go and check the different fields that are in yellow color. Those are the only fields that you can actually edit. And then save it as a local copy, and then you can simply come here, say import, choose your file, import it. So that's like, you don't need to run SuccessFactors for defining compensation. So simply for executives usually this is an option. So they just get an export of this Excel file, modify whatever they wish, upload it, send it back, and someone will upload it for them obviously. So this is for executives mostly. So you've got this option of modifying everything in Excel and then importing the Excel back into SuccessFactors will modify the system. Okay, so this is called executive review. So who is eligible for it? So those whoever you give permission as an executive review permission that you give. So there are read-only options as well as edit options. Edit option will give you imports, whereas if you see read-only, then you only see an export option. Okay, so you got the form generated, version 19. So let's see what or how the budget will look like. I don't know what is wrong with this sheet. Looks like there is some problem with Chrome or something. I don't know why it's not loading. Comp is a bit dry compared to your Employee Central or something. It's not that interesting, at least for me. That's where it's really different when you go to the customer. I'll give you this week. I'll give you an customer recording of a workshop. Okay, so what they need, and I'll give you the documentation for that, so that's a project work for you. Okay, you have to work on that project. I'll give you the XML. I'll give you this requirement document that's SuccessFactors, I mean customer provided, and a workshop where you talk about what they want to do. So that will help you doing things. Okay, you can do it. Next week, half of the time you have to work and complete this one before we go to Employee Central for you guys, whereas for you guys before we complete. Okay, so it's like a project that you need to complete before we go to Employee Central. So I'll give it tomorrow, most probably. I'll get everything and I'll send it tomorrow. I'll also send it. Actually, I have it. I'll send it to Nagaredi right away, so that I'll send that. Yeah. So I'm not sure, guys, what's wrong with the system. Maybe we should try it in Internet Explorer. Let me do that. Sorry, what happened? Mm-hmm. So let's try and log in IE, guys. Let's see how this works here. Oh yeah, so at least this is working. So you see this is bonus budget, right? So you have got a bonus target here. So the bonus target is, so I'll keep it in functional currency so that you can see the total. So the total is 15,625 as you see this here. So the sum of the target value, right? So it's 100% of the target value is what we did, and you can see that here. So, so from a bonus perspective, as I said, the target is mostly defined based on target is defined mostly based on your some percentage value that you need to manually import. For example, every company says 12% of salary is your bonus, or 10% of your salary is bonus. So SuccessFactors compensation has a limitation which says that you cannot bring in some logic into this bonus calculations. So whatever target value that you have, it has to be manually done. So that means you need to import the values through an Excel sheet. So if there is a formula in Excel, you can put it in Excel. The formulas, it works fine. It's not a problem. We'll talk about this when we go to bonus, but just giving an example now. So for complex bonus calculations, should go to variable pay. But most of them, you do it here. We'll come to bonus a bit later. So let's come back. So now we have seen how to define the budgets for different components. So likewise, our next thing is proration. What is proration? What is proration, guys? What's the concept of proration?
Calculating a certain amount or in advance.
Sorry, what is that? In advance?
Calculating of a certain amount or certain thing in advance. I mean, before the year starts, we calculate for the whole entire next coming year. And
is that called proration?
Calculating the existing, like the period, joining date, something like that in the year. And
right, that's right actually. So it's kind of right. So I saw something called as time versus amount, as well as reducing the amount based on the employee time worked. So that's right. So if an employee joins in between the period, review cycle, so your company can say that you would like to reduce the appraisal provided, even though let's say you get 20% hike, but you joined only 3 months before the end of the cycle. So it's like out of 12 months you're there only for 3 months. Then out of 20% you'll get by 5% hike. Even though you worked hard, okay, you got a good rating in the last 3 months, but still as per proration you get only 5%. Okay, so this is a concept of proration. Usually this is very good concept in payroll when we define certain things, because your values will get prorated when an employee joins in between a month, right? When an employee joins in between a month, your salary will be prorated. You won't get for the full month. You get only for the number of days that you work. Same is the concept here. If you would like to reduce appraisal amount based on the time the employee worked, then you can define it within the plan setup. Okay, so within your compensation template you can say that you would follow proration and based on whatever formula or logic. So the formula or logics can be defined in 2 ways. One is based on the dates. So dates, you define the start date and end date of the period. So when an employee joins in between, system calculates automatically. It doesn't define anything. Okay, you don't need to define what percentage of proration that you need to give. Instead you simply maintain the start date and end date of the employee. So you go here. If you look at this here, you can enable salary proration and you can define it based on a date. Okay, so salary proration, when you define it, you can define it based on a range. What does that mean? The date range. So you define the range, let's say those employees who join from 9 between, so those whoever joins in between this period, let's say the proration will be done automatically by the system. How is it defined? If I join in the month of February, let's say, sorry guys. So if I join in the month of February, so system will calculate the number of days worked. Let's say it's like I joined on February 1st. So it's like 334 days I've worked in the year divided by 365. So whatever is the percentage, so your merit will be multiplied, or your hike will be multiplied with that particular percentage. System takes the percentage, we don't define it. Whereas you have got other option where you have say percentage. You don't define anything here, but when you define a percentage, the point is you need to manually import the percentages, because this is applicable when you have, let's say, logic which says an employee who joins between January to March. I don't do any proration because he just joined and he got 8-9 months time, or maybe 10-11 months time to perform something, and it's a considerable amount of time, and the company thinks it's no point prorating it. So let's say, for example, those people who join up to March will not get any reduction in their increment, whereas those people, let's say, who join from March to May will get 75% hike. 75% in the sense not salary hike. 75% of their hike, whatever they're supposed to get. Okay, and let's say those people who join from May or June to August will get, let's say, 50%, and those people who join after August will get 0. Okay, so 50% is not a hike, remember guys, it's just a 50% of hike. Okay, is it clear? So two methods. So one is based on the date. So you define the dates, system automatically calculates. So here it takes even 1 day into account. Okay, it gives you an accurate value of whatever number of days that you worked in that year into the number of days in that year and whatever logic. So it's like number of days worked divided by the total number of days in the year into your hike is what you get in a date type of proration. Whereas in a percentage type of proration, the percentage needs to be defined. Where you define it in your UDF file, the user data file. We'll see both the options. So prorating, the proration salaries will be based on the hire date. So we can also define the proration start date and end date in our user data file. That means when he joined or when he is applicable for proration, start date can be defined. So you can say he worked between these periods. Instead, if you take hire date, if an employee joins in between this date, so it will take the hire date into account and then calculate automatically.
Praveen, where exactly we are defining the percentage as per the months? Here, if we select as hire date.
Okay, this one, if I select percentage, I have to do that in my user data file, which we'll see. We'll see that.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have our changes made for proration. So I'll just go. Let's go one step, guys. I just want to see if we have got. The proration percentage field. I just want to check if it's there or not. So it's there here, so that's fine. So we'll define Sorry? Yeah, other than something, yes, of course. So we'll define it. Form has been generated, so let's see. So it's taking a bit of time today, so yeah, of course. What? It's not bad. So you see here, the proration of this employee is visible. I didn't define any percentage anywhere. So system is taking this value based on the employee's hire date. So let's see when is employee's hire date. Not sure if it's defined somewhere. That's here. You see, that's 5/1/2009. Okay. So based on the employee's start date, system is automatically calculating a percentage, which you don't need to define. Is that clear? Everyone? How is system calculating proration? So if you look at usually if you look at your guidelines as well, so they will be prorated. The guidelines will be prorated for the employees. Okay, so if you have an employee who's rated and if it's prorated, system will define the proration values. Let's quickly go one step back. I'll take someone else. Let's see if I can modify here. Guys, don't bring in too many employees into the system, please. So let's say I change this one from 8 to 9. 2 to 5 was you see it's 2/20/2009 the hire date. Changed it. So we'll go to form generation once again. We'll generate it again. Hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Praveen.
So I lost the connection for a second. So
Yes.
Maybe what I can do is simply come here and generate it as well. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure why it's not working. Internet is working now. Internet is working. Guys, can you hear me online? Am I still connected?
Yeah, Praveen. We can.
Then,
Yes, sir.
why is even Google not coming?
Yeah, Praveen, can hear you.
I don't know. I cannot load it. GoToMeeting is working. But GoToMeeting is working if net is not working. Which is strange.
Praveen, try deleting your browser screen now.
I tried all the browsers actually. Tried this as well.
Now I need to say the cookies and all.
Let me try. Wi-Fi. This line is better actually. Okay, so finally we are here. Okay, so I don't know what I was doing. Proration, right? So yeah, I was trying to change an employee start date for Marla Gibbs, and we wanted to generate a form again. So So we'll just go and generate a new form once again, sorry. Okay, so once we launch the form, let's see how much time it takes. We can also check that ideally, it should update it. When we usually do an import, we can select an update option for the forms. So when you change master data of an employee, when the forms are in progress, you can actually select an option where you can update it. So usually you should block updating master data for the period in which the forms are open, ideally. But certain times, yes, you might have to do something. So we are form generated, so we'll go check this. So if you look at this one here, so previously it was 100%. When I change the employee start date, so it has become 86.3% dynamically. So this is a dynamic calculation. I did not mention anywhere that, okay, this employee has to get this much or somewhere. I just define a condition which says a range of operation started and end date is first of the year till end of the year, and then I give the hire date as the calculation value. So when an employee joins in so and so period, so a system calculates based on the hire date. Okay, so this is how you prorate. So there is another option, as I said, that's when you select percentage. So you need to define the percentage of proration. So where is this percentage coming from? The percentage value can be defined from your user data file. Okay, so better to use technical terminology rather than saying Excel file. So you have to come here and do an employee export first. When exporting, select compensation data, select your form. Right, so oops. So this is our form. So in this form, once you scroll right, you'll see this values here. So these are all the data that's coming from your compensation. So you got salary proration. If you look at salary proration, so you got percentage values. So you need to define the percentage values. So you can use any logic to define it. So currently we are using hire date as a percentage calculation basis. So this will be ignored. But if you select percentage, so instead of percentage, if you go and select, instead of dates, you go and select percentage. So you get this particular field data into your SuccessFactors system. Let's take this one. Just select plan setup, and when I go to compensation proration, I'll define percentage. Okay, so you move the values. Now what happens is you can define the percentage from here. You can take the salary proration field. So based on the hire date, you put a logic on hire date of the employee. So you got the hire dates. So all you need to do is put a condition on hire dates, and then based on that, you define the percentage here. So this is how system takes the values. So what I have to do is, let's say, if I have to define a condition on this one, all I can do is go here. So all those people before 2009. Okay, so all those people before 2009, what I'll do is I'll put okay, so I'll come back and then I'll again apply a filter for 2009 within 2009. So those people who joined in the month of May, ideally you'll have everything. Okay, you'll just select Jan, Feb, and March. You say 70%. Then you select May. Let's say I go select May for those people who joined in the month of May. So salary proration, let's say I'll put it as 75%. For those people who joined after May, let's say in July and September, I can say it's 50%, like this. So you define the values in the system, sorry, in the user data file, and then update the system. So this is a manual process. So when you define percentages, so this is for those customers who say, okay, we kind of allow people from Jan to March. So usually we give 100%. Then they define certain blocks of percent. So for them this is valid solution. But for those customers who wants to put direct date and ask the system to calculate, it's a bit cruel, I would say, because if you're like 15 days in the year and you get still some kind of reduction in your hike, which certain companies follow as well. Is that clear? When you do this percentage, yes, I mean you need to do it in the user data file, which is nothing but you're doing it at an employee data level. Yeah, if you use the logic, it's easy, but if you do it this way, yeah, it's a bit tough.
Praveen, I have a question here. Once you really update it in the user data file, okay, what if the customer comes back and says that he wants to go back to the higher date? As a
I think you can switch it. The problem is once you launch the